The difference between people who succeed in life and people who don't is not the willpower. It's not motivation, it's not the discipline. What is then the difference between those who manage to change on the long term and those who give up? It's something much simpler, but at the same time, it's something much deeper. Let me explain what I mean. So there are two different ways of approaching change. The first one is the classic, the most known one, starting from a goal. I want to lose weight. I want to train 3 times a week. I want to eat better. It works for a while, of course, but it has a structural problem that is built on motivation that normally runs out. It runs out if you reach the goal, but it runs out even if you don't reach the goal. This is the problem, because the drive ends. The behavior, of course, does not hold. The second approach instead is different. It's an identity goal. It's an intrinsic motivation, because start from a different place. This is not what I want to do. This is who I want to be. That is totally different. I'm a person who trains regularly. I'm a person who is with awareness, for example. And when you start from here, the action will follow automatically. Not because you have more willpower, of course, but because you are simply confirming who you are, who you're becoming. Look at these 3 examples. So these examples are not just different for the words that are used to say the same things. Look at deeper. So in the first one, in the first case, basically you ask yourself every morning if you feel like it. Basically you're doing something against your will. In the second one, you're simply acting consistently with the person who you are. So, for example, in case of you want to quit smoking, if you go towards these goal results, you say, I'm trying to quit smoking. So basically you're doing something against your will. If you want to achieve that identity as a non-smoker, you say, I'm a non-smoker. Then I don't smoke. So it's not against your will. It's something that you want to achieve in order to become a different person. I know this sounds very similar, but it's totally different, because it's an intrinsic versus extrinsic motivation. For example, the exercise. I need to exercise 3 times a week. Why? Because you want to lose weight, for example. It's something that, you want to achieve, but it's not something you want to do. If you say, I'm someone who exercises, well, you're not focusing on the outcome. You're focusing on what you're doing every day. The outcome will come. That's why it's so important, so different. Same with nutrition. I'm trying to eat healthy. I'm someone who is carefully taking care of themselves. That's why people who maintain results over time do not seem to work harder than others, because they are not resisting a temptation in this case. They are confirming who they are. That's why it's so important. If you want to do a practical exercise on this, writing 5 identity sentences with a step-by-step guides, well, you will find it in the free course below. And of course, if this video gave to you a new perspective, share it with someone who is still trying to find the right motivation. I'll see you there.